Why did you decide to move to Australia? What was the big attraction?
We chose Australia because we really heard good things about the multiculturalism, and a lot of Sri Lankan expats were already in Australia who made Australia their home. So we thought maybe that's a good destination for myself as well.
What are the most difficult things adapting from life in Sri Lanka to life in Australia? What's different?
When you go to a Western country like Australia, you cannot practice all what you are used to, but that's one thing where Australia stands above other countries. You are accepted and expected and respected for who you are, where you come from. So you don't have to try and become a different person to adjust and adapt.
You now combine a medical career with being a mother. How difficult is it in somewhere like Australia to get the work-life balance right?
The Australian society accepts people's values and choices really well, and that's a really high quality in Australian culture. So fortunately for me, I combine both my family life and my career life almost 50-50, where I don't feel that I've neglected either one too much. And as a family, we have a really good time for family life. Australian society value the family qualities, and most of the workplaces, they respect our cultural commitments and family commitments. From my point of view, I think one of their main priorities are kids' education, parents' careers, and their health. I'll come from the third one, health, because that's a subject close to my heart. Australia has one of the best health systems in the world, not only by the services available, but more the accessibility of such services to the public. It's all governed by a system called Medicare, where any Australian resident is entitled to receive the Australian public health services and access such systems for free of charge.
What's life like for children?
Any child who visited Australia, even for a short 3 weeks holiday, always want to go back to that country. Australia is a very child-friendly place. Wherever you go, even the most heavily residential places have a park for children. They really encourage kids to be physically active. All the schools encourage kids to be physically active at all times. Swimming is part of normal life in Australia, and physical education is incorporated into the education very strongly, and they are so interlinked. Australian education system look at the intellectual development and physical development with equal respect. So for children living in Australia is a fantastic experience. They are freer than in Sri Lanka. In that sense, Australia gives us that freedom to choose how much security to put in, how much boundaries to put into our children, as well as how much freedom to be given in a very safe and stable setting.
So what would be your advice, your message to someone in Sri Lanka who's thinking of a new life in Australia?
I would say, first read a lot, learn from your friends who are already living in Australia, and be prepared for a challenge. When you go to a new country, it's not going to be the same. So as long as you're prepared for a challenge, ready to start life from scratch, and ready to accept a slightly different society and know your limits and retain your values, as long as you're ready for that, Australia is a wonderful destination for families.